What's going on out there, YouTube? This is SEO0220. I'm back again for a movie review. I know it's been a while, y'all. I apologize. I've been on so many different projects that I've been working on, different channels. It's just been nuts. And between that, with Grand Theft Auto footage that I'm working on, trying to manipulate that within some edits, yeah, I haven't had time to do the reviews like I really wanted to, so I apologize, everybody. But this time around, I'm doing a movie review on Prisoners. This epic, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman, Terrence Howard, Paul Dano, some of everybody. It was about a family of two. Hugh Jackman's character is one of the main characters, and Terrence Howard, he's the dad of the other family, and they're just coming over having a Thanksgiving. And what comes to happen is both of their daughters that are of the same kind of age, they get abducted, and they have no idea how this could have happened or what happened. All they know is there was an RV park down the street that the other siblings had witnessed, and they have no idea where the children are. And days after days go by, and you start seeing the families unravel. And what's so interesting in this is the different ways that the imagery mixed on top of the performances exemplified the whole story. So I'll go ahead and go to how I normally do, y'all. So I'll forget as far as the look of the environment of this and the way it was actually shot as far as directing and production. It was beautiful. I went back and I looked and see who the director, who the producers were, because it reminded me of how Christopher Nolan does his shots. Like every little detail, like when you go and you see the family starting in and you look at the first driveway, you notice like the number of the street. You notice like the little creeks on the side of where the actual RV was. You notice when the little kids are playing, like it pans out so close that you can see it, but at the same time it zooms out, and just it's just a beautiful looking movie. I couldn't get over how it looked just off the gate. I knew that based off the trailers that it's going to be very intense as far as the performance is concerned, but I had no idea the production and the world and the environment was just going to look so real that it kind of unraveled itself. And so, I mean, like just from the look of it, y'all, I have to give the look and the visuals for this a 5 out of 5. I just love the way that they actually shot this in every single scene, the intense moments, the hard moments. There's even the scene where one of the persons is like going in a fight, and there's one scene where a person is actually looking through like a peephole. You can just see just how they shot it was just beautiful. I was like, man, when this comes out on Blu-ray, I am getting it immediately. Like it just looked beautiful. So I have to give that a 5 out of 5. As far as the score is concerned, it was just very, not necessarily monotone, but it was really simplistic. It was really straightforward. Of course, like when things happened, like, it just came really silent. You didn't know what was going to happen, so it felt like a thriller, but at the same time, it had like this kind of build of like the characters are learning something that you're trying to learn at the same exact time, and so it's so much more important and needed that we figure out what happened, how this is happening. I know this person's in this, and so the music itself, it was rightfully so very subtle. Like if they had all these different kind of instruments and stuff like that beaming, it wouldn't have worked for it. So I can't necessarily give it a score as far as the musical score for it, but I really did like it actually. Um, so going into the acting, you got Hugh Jackman. This guy, he was Wolverine this year. He was Les Mis. I mean, he's played everything. Movie 43, which I heard was a terrible movie. He was in it. The guy, he has just been on fire, y'all. Like this role, though, he played it very, very well. And I think the reason why I say it played it very well is because when you have somebody like your precious one, your children, that are taken from you, and you know in your gut instinct that there's something wrong, and you know that somebody knows about it and is keeping it, every kind of like paranoia and thought process is going to drive you to figuring out what is going on. As a dad, even more so because of his character, the way his character was, his name is Keller, the way he's actually made up, he always has like a preparedness about him. He always thinks of contingency plans. What if this happens? What if we have a tornado? What if we don't have this? What if we need power? Like he's already got everything set, and that's just kind of how he was raised. And so in the opening, like he's there with the son, and they're like shooting the deer, and it's so simple. And he's actually a religious man as well, which I really like. Was like, wow, this is pretty cool. But like he is torn apart by this, and you see him brought down to his lowest level. Like you're thinking, what is gonna happen? So that was cool. Jake Gyllenhaal's character, who played the detective, the cop, he was just so nonchalant in the beginning. Like he was just so cool because most cops they would be all angry and upset. He kept his cool. It showed his professionalism, but at the same time, like he had his own layered like attitude about him. Like if you push him and this teeters, like I don't know what's gonna happen. So he played that role very well, and I thought he was gonna kind of play like the kind of the random, like kind of how he did with End of Watch. But with this role, like he inhabited that character very well. I really like this character. Um, Other people that were really noticeable, Terrence Howard. I think actually this is one of Terrence's better works because he's very vulnerable in this. Like normally he plays either the bad guy, the jerk, or the alcoholic, or I mean just plays all these kind of random kind of roles. But as far as his range of emotion, like he goes there in this. Actually more so than he needed to. Like I was like, man, I've never seen him this vulnerable. So I mean, I commend Terrence Howard for this because when it gets down to the wire of what are they gonna do, and his wife is coming to him, what are you gonna do to get my daughter back? Like you can just tell, like he is just so battered and bruised. And there's even a point where Terrence's character, like he is just at the point he's about to give up, and to the point he looks like he's just anxiety ridden and he just breaks down. And it's good acting. I mean, I really liked it. I mean, other people which I didn't know was Mara Bello, Melissa Leo. Melissa Leo, she plays a very interesting character. When you hear the name Molly Jones or Holly Jones, you'll know she does a really good role. I've never even heard of this lady before, but I think I've seen her playing also. But because they have her such kind of like an old lady, like you can't really tell who she is. But she did a really good job for this. Now the person that stands out the most is the one that's such a confusing character to everybody that watches the movie, and you don't know what's going on with this kid. But his name, the actor's name is Paul Dino, but the name of the kid is Alex Jones, and his character plays as though he has like this level of mental disorder, but at the same time, there's an intelligence here that he's hiding from everybody, and you're like, he has to be guilty. Internally, just hearing some of the things that he's saying to other people on the sly, you know that he knows it, and it plays for such good storytelling because when he's put through the storm of okay, all right, what do you know, and he's not letting up, and at the same time, like he's I don't know, I don't want to ruin it, but he played his role. He played the villain. He played the tortured person. He played the humble victim. It was a really good performance from him, and I really liked it. So I mean, I think the acting was well rounded. I think the only thing that maybe was lacking is the performances for the kids, and that was because they weren't in there for long enough to really do anything. But the times that they were there, it didn't really stand out to me. Which I mean, I don't want to necessarily see kids traumatized either. So I mean, because it was already a rough ride just seeing everything that was going on when they weren't on screen. But in the beginning, I mean, what was going on? I mean, oh, anyway. So I'd have to give the acting a 4 out of 5 just because I said the kids acting could have been really better. The story, though, it was an intense story. It wasn't necessarily a thriller, but at the same time, it was. It very much so was because it was so much stuff that was going on. And I kind of alluded to the beginning of how it all starts and unravels, but the extremes of how the parents are willing to go, and the extremes of how Jake Gyllenhaal's character is as a detective starts from here all the way to here, it's just amazing. And he's doing and they're doing everything they can to try to find these children, and it's actually starting to conflict with each other because they're going down this path, he's going down this path, and they're intersecting and conflicting with each other, and so they're getting in their own way, trying to save these children. And whether you know it or not, if you go and see this movie, you're gonna realize there's a deeper meaning that's going on as far as the storyline. Stay into the very end of it. Um, there's nothing after the credits, I don't believe. But what I took away from the ending is such like an epic kind of foreshadowing from before how everything happened. Um, that I can't spoil it. I might later on kind of do kind of a small spoiler for this, like a few minutes long, but I really liked it. And I mean, it ended the way that I would hope that it would end, not necessarily how I thought it was going to end. So, I mean, with this, I mean, the story, I have to give the story at least a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this movie. The production for it is a beautiful movie. You're gonna get wild, you're gonna wonder, you're gonna get sad, you're gonna get happy. Um, it's a lot. I mean, it's less amount of happy than it is sad too. So just prepare yourself for the worst, but I mean, you'll see for yourself. You're gonna highly enjoy Prisoners, and I got more reviews to come later on. But as I said, I'm working on this GTA thing. I'm working on these production things. I'm also working on a whole different channel, Home Beginnings Outreach, and so I'm trying to help them out with that. So keep at it. Uh, Comment at the very bottom. I pray y'all have a blessed week, blessed month, a blessed rest of the year. Later.